So staying with us now, a multidisciplinary team made up of law enforcement agencies and private security companies carried out a sting operation and arrested more than 40 illegal miners on Gauteng's West Rand. This follows the gang rape of 8 women in West Village in Krugersdorp last week. Men believed to be illegal miners raped the women who were out shooting a music video in Krugersdorp. According to police, the Zama Zamas are believed to be behind a string of violent crimes in the area, including robberies. SABC News senior reporter Chriselda has been covering stories of Zama Zamas over the years, and she joins us now in studio. Thank you so much for making the time. We know you have a busy day, but just touch on what Hasina was just having a conversation with now with Novlam Konyane and Action SA. Is this Zama Zama concept a political concept, or is it just people trying to fend for themselves?
I just picked up on the clip, Desiree, that Action SA had actually raised to say these raids are taking place now. Yes, people have been arrested. But Desiree, to me, I merely just view this as a public relations exercise. This is what has been going on for years, and it has been ignored. Police know about it, stretching right to the mines on the East and the West Rand. It is a phenomenon that has been going on for years, and absolutely nothing has happened. Over the years, we've gone underground with illegal miners. It's a mammoth task to try and get them to help you, because in order to understand exactly what all of this is about, unfortunately, you have to work with them. We went underground, which we've done. My colleague Spu Tembe and I went underground several years ago. They showed us how they would stay for months underground. And the very explosives that you saw as part of the exhibits from the crime scene where the rapes had taken place are explosives which years ago as well we managed to buy for 500 Rand. These are explosives, as you can see on the screen there. We bought those explosives for 500 Rand. We got an explosive supplier who managed to source it for us within a day. He showed us how to even connect it. Unfortunately, in the fields that you're seeing on your screen at the moment, we couldn't detonate it to show the impact of it because there were nearby informal settlements.
So in essence, what you're saying is it's easily accessible.
It's easily accessible. High caliber weapons, explosives.
Yeah.
The Zama Zamas that have been operating in these areas, while you've had certain mining companies that have closed over the years, some of these holes that have been dug by these Zama Zamas to access these areas, they reopen them once again. It's a lucrative business, but what we're not trying to find out here is who is funding this? Who is behind this? The Zama Zamas are not going to go and risk their lives, risk life and limb for days underground with the possibility of having that collapse on you for nothing. Those are the individuals. And the major issue that has also been raised is that police are taking Toto from some of these illegal. It is known where they operate. It was so easy for the Minister of Police yesterday to find and arrest so many individuals. Why had they been sleeping all along? This has been happening for the longest time. The phenomena of Zama Zamas and illegal people in the country is something that has been happening for a very long time. Now it has become a political issue, and everyone wants to raise their eyebrows like this is something that happened yesterday. It didn't just happen yesterday. The media has been highlighting it.
Chriselda, just on the economic side, mining contributes about nearly 8% to the country's GDP. You want to wonder, who do they sell this produce to once they've mined this gold or whatever product they would be mining at that time? Where's the market?
In the course of our investigations, Desiree, what we found is that the economy on its own through illegal mining is losing billions. Now, this is being sold to kingpins in and around these areas whom you cannot even get close to. On its own, Desiree, from what takes place underground, what you've heard from my colleague Hasina Gori in the report she's been doing over the past couple of days, to get underground there, I'm a woman. There are a spate of rapes that take place inside there. We had to do what we had to do. Turf wars that take place.
Did you require protection
Weapons.
when you went through?
I did not have protection to go through, but the issue of illegal mining was such a huge issue that we had to do something. You literally just have to pray that everything goes well. In one of those clips, one of the Zama Zamas says, this is their way of life. They prefer not to get involved in illegal activity. But I said, but this is illegal. What you're doing is illegal. It says it's better than robbing people. It's better than raping people. This is what we do in order to put food on the table. But it shouldn't be allowed. This is what it's come to now. That's what it's come to now. But you can't have a situation where police are arresting, which is commendable, arrest those who you find at these spots. Who are they selling this to? These are known people in the communities. These are individuals who take this, make a lucrative a buck out of it, and merely give scraps to those who are going to risk life and limb underground.
So the next question I want to ask you then is, we're seeing the police minister going out there, we're seeing politicians now out in court.
That's right.
Can the police officials get to the bottom of this?
Not now. That's my observation. My observation is not now, because this has been going on for so long. Desiree, this stretches way from the east to the West Rand. Every single mining space where there is...
They even have a name for them.
Yes. Every single mining space, there are holes. Yes, government has really tried over the years to try and close off some of these spaces where this illegal activity is taking place. My colleague Hasina Gori was saying on our sister program Morning Live this morning that the police are even too scared to go down there. We've been down there.
Yeah.
There's loaves of bread. You take supplies for months because you don't know when
you will strike
like
a parallel economy.
Absolutely, it's a parallel economy. And if you can have law enforcement too afraid to go into areas like that, you're not going to win the war against illegal mining. This is not something literally that you can solve on the surface. You have to physically go down there and deal with it.
So you mentioned that they go underground illegally and mine minerals illegally, but there's offshoots from this. What other crimes, especially major crimes in the country, are connected to what the Zama Zamas do?
Now, Desiree, it's a string. I'm going to ask our colleagues if they can't bring up that clip where we have that explosive as I'm talking to you, and that will provide a bit of context to it. We'll ask our colleague Mike if we could bring up that explosive. Desiree, the explosives that were found as part of the exhibits where the rapes had taken place in Krugersdorp, were explosives that were found used by Zama Zamas underground. Right? This is a prized commodity because every time you go underground, you have to blast somewhere. So those explosives are used in cash heists. There was a time where the country had been going through a spate of cash heists, and it usually happens as we head towards the festive season. If it was so easy for us to be able to access those explosives with just 500 Rand.
Undetected.
And you can buy more today, you can buy more tomorrow. That's how freely accessible they are. Cash heists, ATM bombings, the exact explosions that some of the communities speak about, because some of these explosions take place so close to the mining operations, the so-called legitimate mining operations. And next to them, because you have informal settlements that were otherwise residents there would want to find work at those mines, the risk of blowing up an entire informal settlement, a place in Pennyville, as you head towards Nigel, just outside Springs. I visited that area quite often, and there it is an absolute nightmare where some of that illegal activity is taking place and everyone knows about it. We had to work for months on end to earn the trust of some of those Zama Zamas and explain to them we merely wanted to understand what their trade was about. And I couldn't speak ill. That is part of the job, because I couldn't speak ill too much because there was a risk that I would not make it out of there alive, because for them, that is their livelihood. And the things that take place underground there, where I also understand, there are, apart from the turf wars that take place, there are rapes that take place between men there. They're underground. The cooking utensils, primer stoves. It is such an exercise for you to take what you have to go with it. So what you're seeing on the screen at the moment, when I saw it yesterday, I was asking, where were you?
So finally,
what
I just want to ask you, just based on the level of insight you have into the Zama Zamas, this latest crime they've committed is so brazen. Yeah. Do you think it was the Zama Zamas trying to send out a message to government, or was it just life as usual for them? This is what we do as we please.
Desiree, communities have long complained about the brazen, heinous crimes that Zama Zamas have been conducting in various areas, not just in Krugersdorp, in other areas which are on the periphery to where they operate. I may not be able to speak about who conducted what. Those investigations are underway. Unfortunately, I have not been in Krugersdorp. But what we saw take place there is what communities have been telling us about for years. The brazen nature of crime, in that if you aren't able to score underground, where are you going to commit crimes? So in the homes of people.
This is the community's lived experience.
This is the community's lived experience. This is what is happening in particular
really
in those areas where these mining activities are taking place, and communities that are just going about their daily business, and most of them would be staying around the informal settlements there, and they enjoy the protection of some of the police there. Accusations that police are taking Jojo. Why has nothing been done? If so many people could have been arrested in such a short space of time yesterday, where we saw this show of force, when were those investigations done? As far back as 2015, and nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Now we want to act surprised when things like this take place? Come on, Desiree.
I suppose we'll stay with questions and also try to follow that process as Police Minister Chriselda promises that they'll get to the bottom of this. That was SABC News senior reporter Chriselda Lewis.